Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal, and welcome back to some more weight loss stories. If you're new here, please tap that subscribe button below for more weight loss stories and to join our awesome community, the Narwhals. I resent thin people, why I shouldn't, why I do, and what I'm doing about it, plus some other progress. I resent thin people. I had that realization just today actually. That feeling's always been there, but I never really named it before now or chose to call it out. I went to the store today for some much needed groceries. It didn't buy a single processed box item if we aren't counting my small jar of Nutella. While I'm driving there, I pass a Dairy Queen. I'm suddenly hit with the strongest craving for a strawberry shake. I could have stopped and gotten one. It was already 1 p.m. and I was only at 450 calories for the day, so I could have easily worked it into my calorie budget. However, I made a deal with myself that if I really wanted a strawberry shake, I'd make one when I got home. So, as I get my good for me groceries, I head to the ice cream aisle to get some strawberry Halo Top. I freeze for a second as I head down the aisle. My gaze is immediately drawn to the shorts, then the tank top, then the flat stomach. And there was a thin woman in the aisle with me, and she was staring down some Ben & Jerry's. I immediately and irrationally disliked her. Let me be clear, that's not a good thing, but there it was. I didn't like this stranger. Why? Well, I noticed a few things as I reflected later after leaving her vicinity. One, she was wearing shorts in public and wasn't constantly tugging them down to keep them over her thighs. 2, her mask fit on her face better than mine did, and I hadn't realized that my mask sat a bit differently than other people's. 3, she was staring at ice cream, and not the healthy stuff I was looking at. Okay, healthy-ish, just regular ice cream. She wasn't embarrassed. She didn't feel a need to grab the ice cream and race away from the freezer before anyone could see her. She was just normally grabbing normal ice cream. I wanted to be her. That's when I really realized why I resented thin people. It felt like they could do things I couldn't, and didn't have to be embarrassed of those things. Now, I'm not saying any of that's true, and that's just how my jealous, upset brain saw things. It felt good in the moment walking around the grocery store to finally be honest with myself about this. I have for years resented and hated thin people without even knowing them just because they made me feel inferior by being what I wanted to be. And up until now, I hadn't chosen to confront those feelings, so I continued allowing myself to feel that way. As I weighed out some plums, I felt good. Not by how I treated thin people in the past, but by the fact that I could now put a metaphorical face to those feelings and actually do something about them. I know none of the anger I felt came out of genuine hatred. It just came out of jealousy and desire, but I feel guilty over it regardless. It feels good that I can start changing that though. Usually when I check out, I choose the biggest cashier I can. I feel more comfortable around larger people. I worry thin cashiers will judge me for my groceries. Today, I chose a thin cashier, and tomorrow, I'll do a little bit better than that. For the first time in my adult life, it starts with a 1. I'm 31 years old, 6'1", and have finally made it from 335 pounds to 199. I followed a super simple plan of just eat less, move more. It took me about 4 years of trying and failing, but I kept picking it back up. This last push was from 265 down to 199. I meal prep for everything I eat, and I only thaw my allotted food for the day to remove the ease of cheating. I substituted in seltzer for soda/beer. I picked up disc golf and play around every day to make sure I get about a 2-mile hike in. I live in New England and these courses are far from flat. I sadly don't really have a before picture, but I just went through all my clothing and tossed and donated all my clothes that no longer fit. And it was amazing to see the difference between my size 44 pants and my current size 34. I went to the store the other day and could just buy whatever I wanted for a shirt because I knew a large would just fit. And it felt great to not have to worry if they have a double XL or if they would have pants in my size. The anxiety this has relieved from me is indescribable. I never used to be able to just shop for clothing like a normal person. I'm going to lose another 15 pounds and then the cutting period is over and it's time to focus on building the body that I want. For those of you that think you can't do it, that think you will never make it, I was one of you. But I can tell you, from what I consider the tail end of the hardest grind the game of life has, you can do it. Every time you fail, you will learn. Every time you hit a setback, you will learn. And knowledge is power. Nobody said it would be easy. Nobody said it will be quick. But if you take all of your setbacks and all of your failures to heart and recognize them as the learning opportunities they are, you will make progress and you will succeed. I had a binge last night, and I'm not mad at myself. And basically what the title says. I just recently came off of a medication that unknowingly caused my appetite to be suppressed, which, I hate to say, helped out a lot with my fasting schedule until I had to get off of it due to an allergic reaction. It sucks, and since coming off of it, I've been hungrier and hungrier every night. Normally, I would be really pissed at myself and be angry that I threw off my fasting schedule and went over my calorie intake for that day. But I realized that this journey for me is not just about losing weight. I've gone down from 268 pounds at my heaviest to 199 when I last weighed myself Tuesday. It's been a long journey of over 2 years to get to this point, and since starting, I've realized that being kinder to myself when I do mess up like this helps me bounce back instead of falling into the mindset of, well, I ruined one day, so the week doesn't matter anymore. I feel good, and I'm going to take on today with more self-control. I noticed a correlation between how early I eat and how likely I am to stick to my calorie goal. Based on a year of tracking, I have observed that the earlier I eat breakfast, the higher chance I have of going over my calories. What's more, the earlier I eat, the more I exceed those calories. On days I eat breakfast 11 or later, I'm a lot more likely to stick to them. The later I eat, the less I seem to eat by the end of the day. Upon realizing this, I started to pay more attention to how I feel and note it down. When I eat early, say 8 a.m., I'm hungry again by 9 to 10. My cravings seem to be higher. And by the time afternoon rolls around, I have eaten more than half my daily calories. Then I'm stuck eating a measly dinner, and of course I end up eating more to not go to bed hungry. If I wait it out past 11, I eat a meal, and for some reason, I feel okay until around 2 or 3. I can get by with a snack and then enjoy a large dinner. Little to no desire to continue eating. A conclusion, I personally should never start the day eating any earlier than 11 a.m. if I want to make it easier to meet the right calories for the day. I forgot to mention, the first meal for me is always the same, a bowl of Greek yogurt with granola. This is also a reminder to always evaluate what works for you by looking back at previous behavior and creating your own rules to increase your chance of success. Try to find trends in behavior and work with them rather than against them. Finally, a positive experience shopping for jeans. Good morning all. I know I usually post just the once a month, but I had to share. Had to. Generally, shopping for clothes is a dreaded chore. I hate doing it. My body image is terrible. I've been fat for a really long time. I always felt like I looked like a whale no matter what. And depression does that to a person, and when you float between a size 20-22 jean, well, it doesn't help. Yesterday, I realized I had to buy new jeans. My old ones were so baggy and stretched they were sliding off. I find belts extremely uncomfortable due to where most of my weight is carried. The lady at the store was really kind in helping me pick out jeans, and when we realized that not only could I fit into an 18, but I was almost a 16, I was shocked. The 16 fit perfectly in the legs, but still a little tight around my waist. I don't even think I've lost that much weight, but a whole jean size. And despite girl sizes being magical numbers, but I always buy my jeans at the same place. Even she was absolutely floored by how different I looked in the new pair versus what I'd walked in wearing. I sent pictures from the dressing room to my best friend. I've never done that. And I bought 2 new shirts as well, because I just felt so good about the progress. I still do this morning. And that brings us to the featured narwhals of the day from our Reddit community. To join our Reddit community, just open the description below. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more weight loss stories, and to join our friendly community, the Narwhals. 3 years in, 80 pounds down, going slow and steady, mostly intermittent fasting, eating more home-cooked food and being mindful, and 275 pounds to 195. Losing 70 pounds in 3 years. Excuse how gross I look, but I noticed I was wearing the same shirt in one of my old photos, and wow, the face gains, 25-pound difference. The second pic was taken a year ago before I decided to lose weight. And thanks for sharing, featured narwhals. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more weight loss stories and to join our friendly community, the Narwhals. And thanks for watching, narwhals, and I'll see you in the next one.